In this lesson, we're going to make the player be able to grab the garbage and pull it towards the top of the screen. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to the Control tab and we're going to grab an if piece. And we're going to place it inside the forever piece, but right at the bottom, underneath the two previous pieces. Then we're going to go to Sensing, and the first piece, Touching Mouse Pointer. We're going to grab that and place it inside the diamond shape of the if piece. Then we're going to click the black arrow to bring down the drop-down menu, and we're going to select Hook, which is our hook sprite. Then we're going to go to Motion, and we're going to select Go to Mouse Pointer. Click that and place it in. And then once again, click in the drop-down menu, click in the black arrow to bring down the drop-down menu. We're going to select Hook. Alright, now let's test this so far. So let's try to grab our piece of garbage. Alright, perfect, it works. But when the garbage reaches the top of the screen, we want it to disappear and then reappear somewhere in the bottom of the screen. So let's do that. So we're going to go back to the Control tab and we're going to grab another if piece. This one we're going to place inside the previous if piece. So it will read go to hook if then. Then we're going to go to the Operators tab and we're going to grab a greater than piece. We're going to drag it and place it inside the diamond shape. Then we're going to go to Motion and we're going to grab this Y position piece again and place it inside the first square. And in the second square, we are going to type in 140. Okay. So we have this piece of code set up. Now we just need to place whatever we want to happen inside this if piece. Now there's a few things that we want to happen. Firstly, we want the piece of garbage to disappear. Now to do that, we go to the Looks tab and we add in the hide piece. Now the second thing we want to happen is we want there to be a slight delay. We don't want the garbage to then reappear immediately. There must be a few second pause between the player collecting the garbage and then the garbage reappearing. So we're going to go to the Control tab and the first piece, wait 1 second. Drag that piece underneath the hide piece. And let's change 1 second to 2 seconds. Now after that wait is done, we then want the garbage to reappear in a new random position. So what we're going to do is we're just going to redo this first piece. Go to X certain number and then Y pick random. So we're going to go to Motion. We're going to grab the go to X and Y. Place it underneath the wait. Change the X value to 0. Then head over to the Operators tab and add in the pick random 1 to 10 piece. And then change the numbers to 0 and minus 120. Okay. So that will now send the garbage to a new random position. Now we're going to head over to the Motion tab and we're going to add in a point in direction 90 piece again to make sure that when the garbage spawns in on the left hand side of the screen, it must start heading right. And then finally, we want it to pick a new costume and then reappear. So we're going to head over to Looks and we're going to click on the Switch Costume to piece again. and place it underneath the point in direction piece. Then once again, we're going to go to operators and drag in the pick random piece. Now remember, we only have 4 costumes, so this piece must read pick random 1 to 4. So let's change the 10 to a 4. Okay. And the last thing we want to happen is for the sprite to then reappear, because remember, it's going to hide. So in order to make it reappear, we need to go back to looks, and then we need to add in the showpiece. Okay, and before we test, there's just one more piece we're going to add, and that is another showpiece. This time, we're going to place it right at the top of our code, so that when the game starts, if our garbage piece is hidden, it will show. We don't want the game to start with our piece of garbage being hidden. So add in the show right at the top of our code. Perfect. Now let's test it out. So we can click on the green flag. We can try to grab our piece of garbage. Okay, once we grab it, it disappears and it reappears a few seconds later. Okay, now there's just one more thing we're going to do before we end this lesson. As you notice, when we grab the piece of garbage, the hook will continue to move towards the bottom of the screen and then bounce up. What we want to happen is, when we grab the piece of garbage, then the hook must immediately head back up. So let's head over to our rope again. And we're just going to edit this piece here, the repeat until. So click on the greater than piece or the less than piece of the first repeat until and pull it out. Okay. Then we're going to head over to the operators tab again, and we're going to grab an or piece. So click this piece and drag it in. Now add in this Y position less than -140 in the second diamond of the OR piece. And in the first piece, we're going to go to the sensing tab, and we're going to add in a touch-in piece. Then click on the black arrow to bring down the drop-down menu and select garbage. Now add this entire piece back inside the repeat until piece. Now click on the green flag, and that should work perfectly now. Wonderful. So as we grab the piece of garbage, the hook will immediately retract.